Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Remember Your Future podcast, where knowledge is power and faith in God is always reminding us that the best is yet to come. I'm your host, Lloyd Buster. Now let's get this journey started. There are 5 requirements for a genuine prediction. Number 1, it must have been known prior to the prediction. Number 2, it must be beyond all human foresight. 3, it must give details. 4, there must be sufficient time that has elapsed between the given word and the fulfillment to exclude the prophet or any other party from fulfilling the prophecy. 5, there must be a clear and evident fulfillment of the prophecy. The value of the argument for the inspiration of the scriptures from prophecy is so evident when we study, and I love this, when we study the law of compound probabilities. I want you to think about this. The law of compound probability prophetically. Here's what I mean. If I were to predict an earthquake that was going to take place next year, the chances of that happening would be 1 in 2 that it would occur. And if I should add another prediction about that and say, if I prophesy that it's going to be on August the 10th, well, the chances of that prophecy coming to pass has been reduced to 1 in 4. And even if I add another detail that it would be in the morning, well, the chances are declining to, and then the chance of that happening now will become 1 in 8. If I add a 4th detail, the chance would be 1 in 32. So if the details were 10 in number, the chance would be 1 in 1,024. There were 25 specific predictions made by Old Testament prophets about the betrayal, the trial, and the death of Jesus Christ. These were given by different prophets, and they were all literally fulfilled. Get this now. They were all literally fulfilled in 24 hours in one person. Now, according to the law of compound probabilities, there was only one chance in 33,554,432 that these 25 predictions would be fulfilled as prophesied. There was 109 predictions literally fulfilled about Jesus Christ coming into this world, being born in the flesh. When you apply the law of compound probabilities to this number, and the chance was only 1 in billions that this would be fulfilled in one person. But it was. Jesus, after he was risen, remember the 2 disciples on the road of Emmaus there? Jesus appears to them, and he starts walking with them. And guess what Jesus did to comfort them and to kind of give them understanding? He spoke about prophecies that was given about him. In Luke 24, verse 27, Jesus said, "At the beginning of Moses and all the prophets," he expounded to these 2 disciples in all the scriptures the prophetic words concerning himself. And these 2 disciples now, they were very familiar with what took place the week before the crucifixion. They were very familiar with his arrest, his trial, his crucifixion, and the burial of Jesus, as well as some of the rumors they heard that he was risen. But he reminded these 2 prophets, or these 2 disciples, that what the prophets said, that in Zechariah 11 and 12 now, he would be sold for 30 pieces of silver. He would be betrayed by a friend, Psalms 41 and 9. He would be forsaken by his disciples, Zechariah 13 and 7. He would be accused by false witnesses, Psalms 35 and 11. He would be silent before his accusers, Isaiah 53 and 7. He would be beaten, Isaiah 50 and 6. His garments would be torn, Psalms 22 and 18. He would be mocked by his enemies, Psalms 22 and 7 and 8. He would be given gall and vinegar to drink, Psalms 69 and 21. And not a bone in his body would be broken, Psalms 34 verse 20. He would die with criminals, Isaiah 53 and 12. The price of his betrayal said it should be used to purchase a potter's field, Zechariah 11 and 13. And that he should be buried in a rich man's tomb, Isaiah 53 and 9. So it's no wonder that while Jesus was walking with them, that he was actually starting with Moses, he outlined the prophetic Christ and compared him to the historic Christ that these two disciples had known and loved. And so the scripture says that their hearts burned within them as he opened up the scriptures to them. How easy a conundrum seems to be when we know the answer, and how simple the scriptures really become when we see Christ in the scriptures. Revelation 19 and 10 says, the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. The spirit and purpose of all prophecy is to testify of Jesus. So, there are 109 prophecies of the Old Testament fulfilled at Christ's advent. But there are 145 quotations from the Old Testament that are used in the New Testament, and 333 of these refer to Christ. And they vary from types and figures that seem meaningless unless you place Christ in them, to exact predictions that record right to the minutest details. And you know, the only books of the Old Testament not quoted in the New Testament, they're Ruth, Ezra, Nehemiah, Song of Solomon, and Obadiah. Now, Isaiah's prophecies have mainly to do with the Messiah and Israel. Jeremiah is the prophet that prophesied of Israel's return to their own land. Ezekiel, his prophecies has to do with the restoration of the Israelites to their own land and with the millennial land and the restored temple and the form of worship. Daniel is the prophet, he's the prophet of the Gentiles and their final leader, the Antichrist. Daniel's prophecies is most concerned with the events that will happen at the second coming. Number one, the Antichrist, the idol shepherd, Zechariah 11 and 15 to 17, Armageddon, Zechariah 14 and 1 to 3, conversion of Israel, Zechariah 10 to 14. It's prophesied about old men and women living a long age in Jerusalem, Zechariah 8 verses 3 to 8. Christ returned to Mount Olivet, Zechariah 14 verses 4 to 11. And then the Feast of the Tabernacles in Zechariah 14 verses 6 to 21. So here we have an incredible entree of prophecies, beginning with Moses, like Jesus said, that actually came to pass, fulfilled in one person. And he came into this world, he died, and he rose again. And now he is our resurrection, and he is our life. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to all the social media platforms that we are on. Also, go to my website, lloydbuster.com. Sign up for my free newsletter. You'll also see opportunities where you can support us as we take the gospel message of Jesus Christ around the world. Look, we love you. God bless you. And thanks for your prayers.